The 2K26 that we are currently playing will not be the same within a month. How much different will it be? I can't really tell you, but I'm not here to waste y'all's time, so of course drop a like and let's get right into today's video. So we already know, I don't know why they still haven't dropped it, but Mike Wang said like 3 weeks ago that they found an error with the blitz steals, the collision system not working correctly, and they're going to be fixing that. We know that that's going to be in the game in a future update. We know there's going to be a change before Season 2. We know that Mike Wang is currently looking at the contest system again after this recent patch. Today, I'm going to be talking about my first opinion on the game, whether something should change or not. I've been letting everything play out. I've been telling you guys my opinions. If they did this, okay, I could see that. If they did that, I could see that. Today, I've got a real answer for you on the shot contest system that I want to talk about with you guys as well. But let's start with Fab, okay? Fab said, fading has a green window from half court in 2K26. Set shots do not. Fading is way easier than shooting stand still. Now, at the time that I got that screenshot, that video had 650,000 likes, and here is the video. So this man is fading from half court with a WNBA player, and he said that the WNBA players don't have badges. So I don't know if they have all the same badges, like everything's on Legend or everything's not on Legend. Either way, you see that there is a green window for fadeaway half-court shots, but there is not for stand-still half-court shots. As he gets a little bit closer, there's a little bit more of a green window. Now, I would love to see more tests on this. I don't think we should just say, okay, that's 2K26, guys, right there. You've seen it. That's how it is. We got to see a lot more tests. How does it look in the My Player area with Legend Limitless, with Legend Set Shot? Let's see a fadeaway with Legend Limitless. Let's see a standing still shot from the same spot with Legend Set Shot, right? But that is pretty crazy regardless, okay? That's why it got so many views. Now, Tyceno deleted these tweets. I don't know why, but I kind of feel like Agent recently, man. I did a throwback to one of his videos. It was still just a news video, but if you guys seen, man, we're the 2K community, you know, the fighting on the thumbnail. Shout out to my GOAT Agent. But I kind of feel like Agent because I'm getting tweets that were deleted for you guys, and this is what he said. 2K made fadeaways and what used to be difficult shots way too easy now. It's slowly been happening the last couple of years, especially with tempo shooting. The room for error is massive now, even from half court, making anybody able to do it to a point it's not that impressive. New players don't know how tight the green windows for these were back in my day. So with the rose emoji, and you see how he said, especially with tempo shooting. So it's obvious if you just read between the lines right there, and you don't really need to, but he is on the side of tempo shooting is overpowered or broken. You know, there's a lot of fight still going on about that, and there's people that's banning rhythm shooting in Pro-Am and stage tournaments. It's crazy, right? But he also followed this up with, gotta bring back the separate three-point and three-point off the dribble attributes at this point. So I've seen a lot of people talk about that. An extra nut, if you guys remember the playmaking glass cleaner from 2K20, he made that build. Everyone started using that build, blah, blah, blah. He was talking about that. Double H talked about having a moving attribute. But still, even if they bring that back, I mean, in this game specifically, which I told you guys is starting to play out more and more how I said, like 2K23, people are just going to have high moving and low standing because everything is a fade, right? You can just fade every shot in this game. It's just how 2K23 was. There was no reason to stop and shoot the ball for a little bit different reasons, but still very similar. Okay, so let's get into a few things real quick before we get into our next meat and potatoes. Body shapes make you slow, man. Shout out to 2K Toots if you guys are not subscribed to him. He did this video right here on body shapes possibly making you slower, and he came to the conclusion that yes, Slight is going to give you overall better launches. He did say, though, that even with like the buff on, you're going to get better launches than Slight sometimes, but overall, you're going to get better ones with the Slight body type. Now, I'm sorry, guys, but for the next foreseeable future, I have so many background gameplays of my new 6ix9ine. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, you're just going to have to keep watching my 6ix9ine because I've just been going crazy with it and having a lot of fun. But anyway, as you guys see right here, It is Curry running from one side to the other. So laterally, defensive wise, it doesn't seem like body shape is going to change your speed, but the launches with the ball seem to change. Now here is Ankle Assassin right here from 2K Labs, a light stun percentage from none to legend. And this is on Hall of Fame difficulty. So in Park and Theater and Rec, it's probably going to be actually a bit higher. But you see 20% for bronze, 23 for silver. It goes up a little bit. It looks like silver or gold is the sweet spot, but the higher you go, the better it's going to be. And of course, again, most people don't play, the majority of 2K players play in the modes that have lower difficulty, so it's probably going to happen more. All right, here is your heavy stun percentage, 1.5 on bronze, all the way up to 4.5 on legend. Now, keep in mind, that's one dribble move, one sequence or whatever. You can just every single play do 6-7 moves, and you can probably get an ankle assassin with legend, especially like every play. Anyway, here is versus perimeter, and you see that there's definitely a correlation between getting your ankles broken and ankle assassin with perimeter defense. Okay, so 25 perimeter is a 39% chance, down to 99 gives you a 28. And honestly, I feel like that's not that good. Like a 74 perimeter difference from literally you can't guard a parked car to the best defensive players of all time, Kawhi, Jordan, stuff like that, is only an 11% difference. I don't know if I agree with that one right there from 2K on making it like that. But anyway, here we go. Average contest percentage versus height difference. This is before and after the patch. We have one from 2K Labs, and it says this test shows an average buff of roughly 9.5% to contest percentage. So each and every height got a buff. Every single one, doesn't matter what you're looking at. Maybe right around the 10 inches of defender height, it doesn't change that much. But you see, basically everything got a jump. So is that good? Is that bad? You guys let me know, now that the patch has been out long enough, do you think that it was a good patch? I think that it was great to stop 7-4s and make them less overpowered in terms of, you had to jump and then they would just wait out your jump and then they would shoot. But there is negatives with it as well. Ghost contest, bad contest, where I believe on both sides of the ball, not just me getting contested more, that there's times where I get contests where I shouldn't get, and there's times where defenders get contests that they shouldn't get, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I believe it's not a solid, okay, this patch was amazing. It was a take a good with the bad balance of the game, okay? So here is your best height versus 7'4" average contest percentage post-patch and pre-patch, and it still does look like 7'4s are the best to stop 7'4s. Wow, who would have thought? But then the next one is the 6'11s, and man, I just made a 6'11 the other day. I'm about to show you guys some gameplay footage. We'll talk about that, and I do like my 6'11 so far. It's pretty crazy. I don't know. We'll see, because it's the tallest build that can get Shifty Shooter, and I got Legend Shifty Shooter on it, which is crazy with the Max +2. So anyway, best height versus 7'4" average contest percentage with a bar contest with hands up. And remember, guys, this is on Hall of Fame difficulty, just like the other one. So you're going to get less contest percentage on the Park, Theater, lower difficulty modes, okay? And you still see 6'10", 6'11", 6'9". They're actually going to get a better contest than a 7'4", because the 7'4s don't have enough speed and agility to really get there to get that far away contest, right? So let's play this clip of the contest system that I want to show you guys from King Dooms, okay? This is after the new patch, and I'll be right back.
Brother.
Oh, I'm fast as fuck, boy.
I finished after 9.
Oh, I don't exist. I got a 21 for that for not putting my hands up. Wow.
So you see, he got a 21% contested on that right there for not putting his hands up. And he said, this clip is post-patch. The dumbest thing is buffing it more. I didn't even put my hands up. People just need to come out and say, I don't want to play defense in the 2K series anymore. I'll clarify this post more. It's players that want another buff to contest. It does not need to be touched anymore. And guys, I am about to, for the first time, agree with that. Let me show you this clip. This is on my 6'11 that I was just talking about versus a 6'4". Now, I'm not saying these shots were not greenable, okay? Please do not think that. But look, right there, that's the release of my shot. He's not there at all. 4% contested on that shot. Okay, 4% contested. Not bad. Still not saying I should have made the shot, but look, he reaches. I see that he reaches. I'm going to go up with my shot. He smacks my knee. That's the release of my shot right there. A 7-inch difference, 9% contested. So I'm not saying whether you agree with that contest or not. Some people are going to say you shouldn't have any contest on that. Some people are going to say, Badge, stop crying. He was kind of in your bubble. And yes, that should have been a 9%. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is there should not be another buff to the contest system. Okay, that is good enough. All right, for the first time, I'm agreeing with what people are saying. Do not change it anymore. There should not be another buff to the contest system. Now, please also hear me out on this if you're on the other side. But even if you are agreeing with me, what I said in the last video was this patch just made the meta even more reliable, even more efficient, even more consistent, right? Because the meta is to run and fade, which is very hard to get anything but an open contest on, okay? You can get wide opens, and then if you're there and you think you're there, you're usually going to get an open, okay? Sometimes you do get a little bit of a contest. However, what I'm saying is any other playstyle except running and fading has been nerfed. Isn't that insane? Before the patch, the best playstyle was fades. Run, fade. After the playstyle, any offense you can think of that's not running and fading has now been nerfed more. You guys just seen that guy got a 9% contest on my shot, a 7-inch difference for just kind of being there, you know, just a little bit being there. So do not change it anymore. I'm agreeing with Joe in terms of if they make it any better, it's just not going to make sense. People are not going to play defense, guys. You are not going to have to play defense. It's already happening. There's scenarios that you can show, kind of like I did, where, you know, King Dooms ran by the guy and got a 20%. And it's going to be bad if they change it. Okay, really, really bad if they make it any better. So what they should do, if they were going to change the game, in my opinion, of course, I'm not saying to change anything here, and I do want to still see tests from 2K Labs, 2K Toots, because we don't know. But it seems like fadeaways have the same green window, maybe even bigger than a standstill shot. A fadeaway is a harder shot than a standstill, especially a 3-point fadeaway. Okay, it's definitely a harder shot. So what they could do to kind of bring that balance back is make a fadeaway a lower green window, especially when it's at least open. Okay, if it's a wide open, okay, maybe the same as a regular standstill shot, maybe. Okay, I'd be okay with that. But if it's open or contested, it should be definitely harder than a standstill shot. You should have a smaller green window. It should be more challenging because it's one, it's a harder shot, and two, we all know from playing 2K26 that the more, if you fade away, you are at the best advantage to not get contested already. So you're taking a good with the bad. Yes, you're saying I'm going to fade away this shot because I don't want to get contested, but it should still be a smaller green window. It should be a harder shot. That's what I think if they were to change anything right now. There's a bunch of other things we could talk about, but I think that's the biggest that would bring more balance back after this patch that has made fading even better. Okay, guys, I hope that I explained that kind of as good as it is in my head, but let's play another contest right here from Ja Bridgeforth, who was standing next to a guy and got a 25% contest. Now, people on Twitter have been slowing it down, pausing it, and they're like, hey, you're basically in his body when he goes up with a shot. That is a fair 25% contest. Okay, let's say that you do believe that. Let's please agree that it shouldn't be any higher than it is right now. Let's say you don't agree. It should have been a lower percent. Well, we definitely should not buff contest any more than it already is. I do not think contests need another buff. There's other ways to bring more balance and skill gap into the game than buffing contests, because that's just going to make fadeaways even better. Okay. Dimeworks said, I had to bring out the 99 tray ball build just to survive in starting 5. This game is now a 3-point shootout circus. If you're not shooting threes, you're losing no matter how well you play. This game is exactly what they didn't want it to be, and it's all because shooting is too damn easy. Stop telling me shooting doesn't need to be touched. It does. So Dimework is 100% saying that shooting needs to have a smaller green window on 2K26. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Starting 5 has an even lower difficulty than Park, which is a mix of All-Star and Superstar, just like Rec, which Mike Wing has confirmed. For those of you that, for some reason, guys, the reason I say that's because every time I say that, there's someone that's like, no, bro, Rec's on Hall of Fame dip. No, it's not, bro. It's not on Hall of Fame difficulty, okay? Unless Mike Wing is literally lying to us for whatever reason, it's not, okay? But Starting 5 is on an even lower difficulty than Park, which is crazy because if you guys have played in Park, it's basically on Rookie. That's what it feels like, right? So I told you guys, because every time someone says that shooting is too easy on this game, they say, that's what you guys wanted. You said you didn't want RNG. That doesn't specifically mean that, okay? You guys know I said earlier, a few videos ago, if I was the gameplay director, if I was Mike Wing trying to make a game that has a skill gap, right, where people still have fun, I would have no RNG in the game because that makes sense, right? If you time your shot correctly, it should go in. However, I would not make the green window as big as it is this year, especially in game modes like Park and stuff. But they also tried to do that on purpose where it's more realistic in the modes that have Hall of Fame shooting difficulties, you know, to where you're not going to be shooting as good. There is already something like that in the game. It's just not in every mode. So it kind of does suck telling people, you know, hey, guys, if you're complaining about this, go to Rec. Or no, go to Stage, go to Pro-Am, you know. But that is your option. There is at least an option to not see as much craziness, okay? So just because you say that you want shooting to be not as easy doesn't mean you want RNG to come back, okay? Now, I'm not saying that that's how it should be. I'm just saying I think that that would create a higher skill gap, and I've said that for years, way before, even before 2K25 came out. I said that, right? Because 2K24, before they did the first shooting patch, was like that. It was a low green window, okay? But it had a basically pure green window from start to finish, where if you timed it right, it went in, all right? But that's all I've got to say to you guys, okay? It's my first time this year coming out and being like, something doesn't need to change, something does need to change, whatever. Something does not need to change, and that is 100% not buffing the shot contest system. It does not need to be any better than it already is, okay? So guys, if you want to see my 6'9" that you've been watching throughout this gameplay, click right here, bro. It's insane. My do-it-all demigod is what I call it. Tap right here, it'll take you to the video, and I'm out of here. You might as well, because I'm leaving. All right, and you're going to see it for the next 5 videos. Peace.